How's it going, people? Today I want to talk about the model banks that were just released for the Roland Fantom in its latest update 2.10. Some of you have seen my previous Roland Fantom review. You know that it's near and dear to my heart, and it's my #1 keyboard. It's a digital workstation that, in my opinion, transcends being a digital workstation. And now I can say unequivocally it is the best workstation that I've ever played. Now that it has the model banks. Essentially, the model banks are digital emulations of the Jupiter 8, the SH-101, the JX-8P, and the Juno 106. That's basically what's currently available in the Jupiter X and the Jupiter XM. I understand Roland gets a lot of flack, and I understand why. They frustrate a lot of people. I get it. Everybody wants them to release an analog version of the Jupiter 8, like a reissue, and who knows, that may happen someday, especially with the success that Sequential's having with the Prophet 10 reissue. But I'm completely bowled over by how good these model banks are on the Fantom. I made a video showing just some of the presets that come with the model banks, and also me tweaking the parameters. The Fantom utilizes behavior modeling circuitry, I believe it's called, and it's part of the Zen Core system they have going on, where it enables all of their products to share sounds across multiple different products. It's a pretty cool idea, and it's starting to make sense to me. It didn't at first. At first, I'm like, why would you compete with your own product lines, so much, so directly? I think for a digital synthesizer, this is the closest it's ever come to sounding like an analog synthesizer, at least to my ears. I've never played a System 8, and I understand that some people feel very strongly and think very strongly that the System 8 sounds better than the Zen Core products, and they're still selling that synthesizer, and I've heard some artists on YouTube, like 80s Man, shout out. He does some incredible work with the System 8. For someone like me, these emulations come close enough. And I base a lot of that off of having a JX3P. And these model banks sounds oh so close. I think where I start to hear the difference is when you really push the resonance to its peak, and you do a sweep with the resonance cranked up. It starts to distort like a little tiny bit. There's little artifacts, a little bit of aliasing you hear. All right, so the really exciting thing about the model banks and about the whole Zen Core infrastructure is that you can get Zenology Pro off of the Roland Cloud. You can pay a nominal price to use it, and you can basically have these same sounds for a fraction of the cost on your laptop or your computer or whatever. The frustrating thing about it for me is that it's a subscription-based service. That's where they rope you in, and that sucks. Roland, if you're listening, change that up. Let people just download the model banks as a plugin. As far as the model banks on the Fantom go, eventually they're going to charge people for those model banks. Right now they're free if you download them, but eventually they're going to be like $150 for each model bank, and I imagine they're going to be releasing more. As far as the Fantom goes, when you switch to a different model bank, the colors change, and if you go deep into the tone edit screen, it'll show you the waveforms and the range and the pulse width modulation features, parameters that map and represent exactly what you would find on the original hardware. I really appreciate that. And the other advantage to the Zen Core Jupiter 8s and Junos is that they're not limited to the original polyphony. So you can have, a Juno, a Jupiter 8 sound, an SH-101, and a JX-8P, among other types of sounds, all layered at once. I'm going to switch over now to me fiddling about with the different tones and tempers of the model banks.